I'm Frxsty, and today I'm explaining Room the only way I know how, kind of chaotically. It's my favorite book, and somehow it manages to break your heart, heal it, and then stomp on it again, which is why I love it. Alrighty, let's get into this. So I'm going to start with the names of each of the characters. We've got Jack, who is 5 years old. We have Ma, aka Joy, and she is about 26. Then we have Old Nick. Then we have Officer O and Brown, Dr. Clay, Noreen, Nancy Newsom, Leo, Paul, Diana, Bronwyn, and Robert Newsom. I'm not too sure if there are more characters or not, but that's as many as I got down so far. Anywho, the book starts off in Room. Now, Room is a garden shed dungeon prison cell type shit. So the backstory to what Room is this woman named Joy, aka Ma, was 19 years old and was kidnapped by this strange man who we don't know his name, which is why we call him Old Nick. Old Nick kidnaps Ma and puts her in Room. And Room is a converted garden shed. Now, Ma has been in Room for 7 years. So, as old as Jack is, 5 plus 2 years. So, the book starts off on Jack's first... Oh, what the hell? No, sorry. So, the book starts off when Jack just turns 5, and it starts off with his birthday. He wakes up with Ma in bed with him together. Like, it's a garden shed. It's an 11 by 11 garden shed, mind you. So they have a tiny little bed that they share. And yeah, I am all over the place. I'm so sorry. It's going to be chaotic. Deal with it. So Room starts off with Jack's 5th birthday, and he wakes up. He's so excited. He's like, Ma, I'm 5. I'm 5 now. And she's like, yeah, you are. I'm so excited for it. And by the way, before I actually really get into it, Room is also a movie, and I'm not going off of the movie. I'm going off of the book. I have watched the movie. They're pretty similar, but also really, really different. So yeah, we start off with Jack's 5th birthday. He wakes up, Ma, I'm 5. And he's all excited about his birthday. He's like a little too excited to be turning 5. I'm kidding. And it's really great because he's just like so excited to be turning 5, and they get out of bed, they brush their teeth, do their morning stuff. And then Ma decides to tell Jack that she has a present for him. And he's like, what is it? Excuse me. And Ma is like, well, I can give it to you now or after breakfast. Which would you like? And he's like, how is it supposed to go? She's like, however you want, bud. And so he's like, I want it now. So they get out his present now, and it is a drawing that Ma made of Jack in his sleep. And he's like, why are the eyes of me shut? And she's like, because you were asleep. I drew it when you were asleep. And he gets weirdly upset about that. That kind of pisses me off, Loki. You'll see in the in the book that Jack gets upset over such little trivial things. Like, he literally almost threw a whole ass fit because the eyes in the picture of him were shut because he was sleeping when she drew the picture. So then Ma calms him down and is like, well, sorry, I wanted it to be a surprise. Like, get over it, kid. And, anyways, so Jack gets a little push pin and is going to put it up on the wall. Mind you, the walls are made of cork. Like, that's how shitty they live in. But anyways, he goes to take a push pin and put it over the bed, and Ma's like, not there. And Jack was like, oh, okay, because Ma doesn't want Old Nick to see the picture of Jack. Mind you, Old Nick has literally never seen Jack at all. Literally since birth, he has not once laid his eyes or hands on Jack, ever. Because when Old Nick comes, it's only in the night time to rape her. And, so yeah, every single night, Ma puts Jack in their wardrobe and shuts the doors, so that way he's out of sight from Old Nick. And then when he leaves in the middle of the night, Ma brings Jack out of the room. Sorry, not the room, the wardrobe. Ma carries Jack out of the wardrobe and puts him in bed with her, and he wakes up in bed. That's why throughout the book you'll notice that he says, oh, I woke up in bed. Because, yeah. So he gets out the Pushpin is about to put it over the bed. Ma says no, and he goes to put it in a wardrobe where he can see it instead. They carry on throughout their morning routine. They have breakfast, 100 little cereals each. Like, they get nothing. Like, that's how shitty their life situation is. Because, again, they're in a little garden shed. And so after breakfast, Ma and Jack decide they're going to make a birthday cake just for Jack. And we get to listen to how Jack and Ma make his birthday cake, and how he waits hours and hours for it to cook, and he's so excited for his little cake to come along. And all throughout this time, he's just playing around, doing child stuff, reading. He's a really smart kid, by the way. He reads, like, much better than a 5-year-old should read. Like, he's very smart. He knows how to read, a little bit of writing. He knows quite a bit of math for being 5, which I thought was very impressive. And so we carry on throughout their day. The cake's finally done, and Mom's like, hey, here you go. And she puts 5 little, like, I'm going to assume they're, like, Smarties, the Canadian ones, mind you, because I'm Canadian. Google it. She puts, like, 5, I imagine they're Smarties, so I'm saying they're Smarties. So she puts, like, 5 little Smarties on the cake because they don't have candles. And Jack was really disappointed that she put chocolates on his cake instead of candles, and he throws a fit over that too. And I'm like, bro, get a fucking grip. They're chocolate. Go, Jesus Christ, get over it, kid. But whatever. And I was like, I'm sorry, but we can't have candles. It's too hard to get candles. And what if he can't find candles? Then he probably wouldn't bring a Sunday treat at all. And that's what Old Nick does. He brings them groceries and essentials every Sunday. And Jack and Ma call it Sunday treat. Jack gets over the fact that he doesn't have candles on his cake, and then they have dinner. It's either dinner and then cake, or cake and then dinner, either or. Then they have their bath, and then they get ready for bed, and Jack is really upset that it's the end of his birthday, and he doesn't want to go to sleep. But Mom's like, come on, we have to go to sleep. It's almost 9. You have to go to sleep because don't want Old Nick to see you. And then he does. He goes into the wardrobe. Ma shuts the door, bangs her head because she was singing to him because he wanted her to sing. She sings to him for a little bit. Then she hears the beep, beep, beep on the door. She bangs her head getting up and shuts the wardrobe tight. Then we hear Ma and Old Nick talking about life shit, sort of. And then they go to bed. And Old Nick actually is like, oh, what's that, a birthday cake? And Ma kind of just nods her head. And Jack says in the wardrobe, I'm 5, but he whispers it. And Ma must have heard that because Ma went over to the wardrobe and said, Jack. So Old Nick kind of like taunts Ma and is like, oh, come on, Jack, open the wardrobe. Let's say hi. And like kind of like taunting her. He has insulted him that time. Like, what's the freak out, like 2 heads or something? I'm like, you fucking bitch. That's technically your son, you dickhead, but whatever. And, yeah, so that little fiasco's done. Ma's literally begging Old Nick to just go to bed with her, so he leaves her son alone. Then he says this bitchy line, like, oh, didn't your mom ever teach you some manners? God, don't you want this dick? And she's like, no, fuck off, bitch. But that's not actually what they said, obviously. And then, they go to bed, and this is really, really sad to say, but, because Jack doesn't know what sex is, because he's 5 years old. He's not asleep, mind you. We just heard him audibly say, I'm 5. He's awake hearing all this, because the book is narrated by Jack, mind you. And this is really, really sad, but literally, every time Jack is awake, when Old Nick is there, he counts each time Old Nick assaults her. Like, he counts the creaks on the bed. And then he stops when he hears a loud groan from Old Nick. It is absolutely heartbreaking to hear him say in the book. Obviously, it's not real, but that's so sad and heartbreaking to me. Because I'm like, my poor baby. But then, yeah. The next day, through days... So I have been reading the book, like, this past week. And I've been writing down each day when he goes to sleep and wakes up, because it's not like normal days, because it's in room. from the moment he wakes up to the moment he goes to sleep, and I've been counting those as days. And so day 1 is his birthday, all the way to day 5. So after his birthday, oh my god, I'm so all over the place, I'm sorry. But after his birthday, it's the next day, and it's just a normal just a normal day. And what I was just going around explaining the things, and Ma is starting to explain to Jack that the world isn't just room, that there's more of outside, and that old Nick kidnapped her. Just a little bit here and there throughout the day, kind of like saying things like, oh, this is real, and he's saying Jack is really avoidant to believe all this stuff because he's a child, but he's very, very hesitant and very avoidant of the fact that room is not the entire world. And Ma keeps trying to explain it, but he's not really having it. So she only brought it up like once or twice the day after his birthday. And so then yeah, the next day, so the night after his birthday, on night 2, old Nick comes again and brings a little toy Jeep for Jack. And the day after the second day, so day 3, when Jack wakes up after the day after his birthday, there is a truck. Or not truck, that's in the movie. In the movie, it's a truck, and in the book, it's a Jeep. And in the book, old Nick gets Jack a remote Jeep, and he's playing with the whole day. And Ma's kind of pissed about it because she's mad that he got her that he got him a toy and she couldn't get him anything for his birthday. But she's not gonna say that, obviously. But yeah, he gets the toy for his birthday. He's just playing around with the toy. Excuse me. And yeah, Ma keeps trying to explain that it's that there's more to the world than just room, because Jack believes that the entire world is room, and outside is outer space and the TV planets, because they have a little TV. And that's literally his entire world, which is kind of heartbreaking. And I'm pretty sure the book is set in 2008, by the way, so there's no like iPhones or shit like that they can like, or like Apple TV or anything, so it's just like cable. Oh, excuse me, I gotta hear my mouth. So that's what the world is to Jack. It's literally room, outer space, and the TV planets. That's what his world is. And Ma is trying to explain, no, there are things outside of the world. There are trees and grass and dogs and mountains and rivers and lakes and all this stuff. But yeah, he's really resisting it, and even gets angry at her. Because he's like, you're just lying to me. You're trying to trick me. That's not true. This is through days 1 to 5, by the way. And Ma keeps getting frustrated, but keeps trying to prepare him for helping in an escape. Like, little subtle things here and there. Like, oh, don't you want to see the outside side? You know what I mean? Like, go out and enjoy the world and the fresh air. And he's just not having it. He is absolutely resisting this shit so hard. So during these times in days, I think, yeah, it's the night that Jack gets his Jeep. So this is night 3. Jack gets his Jeep, and Ma tells him that he needs to put it away because it's bedtime. Jack says no. Ma's like, well, too fucking bad, I'm taking the Jeep. And he's like, can I at least have the remote? And she's a dumbass and says, sure, you can have the remote, just not the Jeep. And you have to put the antenna down so that you don't poke yourself in your sleep. And he's like, okay, fine, I promise I will. Old Nick comes that night again too, by the way. And Jack falls asleep, doesn't really hear anything, and he wakes up in the middle of the night, and the Jeep is on top of the wardrobe, and Jack is dumb and decides to lift up the antenna to the remote. And my brain is hurting right now, I'm sorry. Oh my god, brain, words, work. Anyways, Jack puts the antenna up to the remote, and he turns on the Jeep because he's stupid and decides, I'm going to make the Jeep go forward. You know what happens? The Jeep falls on old Nick's head, and old Nick flips the fuck out, and he's yelling at Ma, and chokes her out a little bit. And she's like, what? I don't understand. I was asleep. I'm confused. And he's like, what, you trying to pull something? Like, are you trying to hurt me again? And she's like, no, I promise. I was just asleep. Like, I'm confused. It was the stupid Jeep. I'm sorry. It was dumb. And then he chokes her a little bit more and then leaves the room and goes to his own house. Because room is in his backyard. So he goes to his house again because he's pissed off because he thought that she tried to attack him. Jack is kind of scared. Ma calls him. He comes out of the wardrobe into bed. They go back to sleep. In the morning, Ma is pissed off at Jack. Not like mad, but pissed off that he woke Old Nick up and made the Jeep fall on his head, because then Old Nick thought that he was being attacked by Ma, which obviously wasn't true. And Jack notices that there are bruises on her neck, and he's like, oh my god, Old Nick did that to her. I don't know what he did, but there's something on her neck and it's scary. And he feels really bad about it, because obviously. And yeah, Ma's like, I'm not mad at you for waking up. I'm mad at you for upsetting him and hurting him because he thought I was attacking him. And then Jack said something really sad, and he said that he didn't like being 5 because this is 3 days in a row now that they've had 3 pretty big fights. I'm like, that's so sad. And so yeah, the day is again pretty boring. Same old. It's pretty much out of cake now, by the way. And that night, Old Nick comes back again and kind of tries to like taunt Jack out of the wardrobe. He's like, oh, do you want a lollipop? Come out and get some candy. And Jack is about to, but Ma steps in the way again and is like, no, let's go to bed. You, like, fuck off. Don't touch my son. And, sorry, it's my dog. And, so yeah, that happens. And then they go to sleep again. Jack wakes up again in the middle of the night. And instead of just, being a normal child and going to sleep, going back to sleep, he opens the wardrobe and gets out. And he sees Old Nick's shoes on the ground, and he's really confused onto why there's shoes in his room, because like that doesn't exist him in his world. Oh, by the way, this night he kind of overheard them talk, Ma and Old Nick talking again, and Old Nick lost his job, and Ma is worried that if he loses his house that they're gonna die, because there's no way he's going to let anyone in his house or backyard and see them. So she's kind of scared now. And so yeah, Ma and Old Nick were talking about that, and then they go to bed. Then Jack wakes up in the middle of the night and goes out of the wardrobe. Sorry, I forgot to mention that. That happens. Jack gets out of the wardrobe, and he kind of creeps over. He almost trips over Old Nick's shoes, and he goes to the bed and just stares at Old Nick. Old Nick opens his eyes and says, oh, hey, buddy. And that freaks Ma out because she saw Jack out of the wardrobe and Old Nick looking at her. So she freaks out and screams at Old Nick to don't look at him, don't touch him, like, don't touch my son, stay away, all that good stuff. Old Nick again freaks out, chokes her out, and Jack runs into the wardrobe again after hearing Old Nick talk. And then he attacks Ma. Then he leaves again, and in the morning, Old Nick cuts off the power to the wardrobe. So yeah, Old Nick leaves, right? And then Jack gets out of the wardrobe again and goes back to bed and is sad and crying to Ma because he's sorry. He shouldn't have done that. He won't do it again. He's sorry. He just was a child and being curious. So yeah, then yeah, this is now on night. This is day 6 now in the morning after Old Nick said, oh, hey, buddy. And Old Nick cuts the power off as punishment when Ma refuses to comply with him because he wanted her to be nice to him, but clearly she's been attacking him, even though it's old Jack just being a little shit. Ma and Jack are left in the cold, hungry, and in the dark because there's no light, there's no refrigeration, so they have to eat gross old food and shit like that. So that's always fun. And yeah, Ma's kind of freaking out because she's like, what the fuck? The power's off. What do I do? Day 7 is a gone day where Ma just lies in bed, completely shuts down, doesn't eat or talk, and Jack is left on his own to entertain himself and care for her. We pretty much see what he does in a day where he's all alone. He pretty much just watches TV, brushes his teeth, eats gross, slimy green beans, and goes to bed. Like, that's pretty much all he does all day, is just watch TV when Ma has a gone day. And he saved her a bit of food, which is very sweet of him. And like sometimes he'd be like, oh, I wonder what would happen if I fell off of this, and would she wake up even if I was crying and needing her help? And I'm like, and in my head I'm like, of course she would, you're her baby. Like, if you actually needed help, she most certainly would, but like, please don't fall. So yeah, that's a gone day. Is when Ma is gone. She shuts down and stays in bed, doesn't eat or talk or anything like that. From days 8 to 10, Ma recovers and starts working out escape plans with Jack. She explains how Jack will need to be brave and play dead, so old Nick will take him out in a rug. Jack resists at first, but he's terrified because he doesn't want to leave Ma and doesn't want to believe the outside is real. So from days 8 to 10, she didn't actually explain that it was dead, so for the days that the power was off, it's 3 days that the powers are off, mind you. So from 7 to 10, Ma is deciding that Jack should play sick because of the power got cut and it got so cold that he got a fever and he's been throwing up and all this shit. So they're like, okay. So their escape plan was that Jack is going to pretend to be sick because the power's been cut for 3 days. And he's got so sick that it's coming out both ends, high fever. And what's going to happen is old Nick is going to see that he's so sick and is going to take him in his truck to the hospital so that the doctors can, make him better. But in reality, going to give the doctors a note and that says, help, I've been kidnapped. This was my mother. He's the guy who kidnapped us. And then, yeah, so the plan was sick, truck, doctors, police, save Ma. That was the plan. And they kept rehearsing it, trying to make Jack pretend to be sick by coughing. Doesn't really work. She's like, all right, just stay quiet. And so Ma's like, he's going to have to touch your head. And he's like, no, I don't want him to touch me. And so how they get him to, like, think that Jack is sick is Ma puts a bag of really, really hot water on his head to make him feel like he has a fever. And she makes herself puke on the pillow. So it's like, so he smells gross and puts it in his hair. And it's like, it's really gross, honestly. But, she wants to escape. So whatever. And so she does that. Every time he goes to the bathroom, she doesn't flush it just to really make it smell gross, like he's been sick. You know what I'm saying? So then that night, I think it's the day after the power got cut. So 3 days, then a 4th day on day 11. On day 11 is the day that they execute the sick plan. And so, it's so, oof, you know what I mean? So yeah, they execute the plan. Jack stays in bed just before 9 p.m. Ma puts a hot bag on his head to make him hot, makes herself throw up on him so he smells all gross and sick. Old Nick comes in, and Jack's only job is to stay floppy and quiet, and then when he gets to the hospital to call for a doctor. Give the doctor the note. So he doesn't have to talk to anybody. Just give the doctor the note. And yeah, that's literally his only job. Well, he kind of like is panicking internally, like, oh my God, old Nick has to touch me. And he's scared of that. He does not want old Nick to touch him because, I'm valid. And all old Nick does is touch his cheek and be like, oh my God, he's like really sick. And he's like, yeah, I'll get him something stronger. Because, Ma has these pills that are supposed to help her with tooth pain that old Nick got her, and so that's what she uses because she has this bad tooth because she has rotted teeth, because for the couple of years before Jack was born, she just watched TV all day long and stayed in bed. She didn't even brush her teeth ever, so that's why her teeth are all janked. And so she has these headache pills that are supposed to help with the pain. And old Nick's like, oh, just give him some of those. And she's like, I have, but he just keeps throwing them up. Like, he is sick. And old Nick's like, okay, fine, I'll get him something stronger, and leaves. He doesn't take Jack. He does touch Jack, though, on the cheek. And that freaked Jack out, but he didn't say anything, thank God. And then old Nick leaves and it's like, I'll get him something stronger. Mom's like, no, you need to take him to the hospital. He needs fluids. You can take him back right after they give him some fluids. I don't care. Just get my son better. They kind of honestly pull some racist shit in there where Ma literally said, just say he's an illegal alien with no papers. That's quoted from the book. just say he's an illegal alien with no papers. And I'm like, what the fuck? That is some racist ass shit, you bitch. But no, even that, like, just saying, just come on, like, just, I don't care, just get my kid some anything. He's like, no, and leaves. Then the next day or two, I think, it's either the next night or a couple nights after, what was I saying? Yeah, Mom was like, oh, it's, so, after old Nick leaves the room after, not taking Jack to the ER, Jack's like, oh, am I not gonna go to the hospital anymore? And she's like, no, sorry, whatevs. But then she kind of smiles and she's like, well, that wasn't actually my OG plan. My OG plan that is not your plan, but is now, you're gonna play dead. And he's like, what the fuck? I'm gonna play dead? I'm 5, bro. And she's like, I don't care, I'm gonna play dead. And she's like, alright, cool, bro. He's very hesitant to play dead because this time she's going to say that he got so sick, he waited too long to get him antibiotics. And he dies in his sleep. And Mom will have him rolled up in rugs so that old Nick can't see him. And that she wants him to take Jack somewhere to lie him down in the dirt. Like, not in the backyard. And bury him. And this actually works. But before this plan, Ma... Now, this is like... They're in room, mind you, for 14 days. Or no... 15 days before they escape, sorry. And throughout this time, they are planning and trying to get Jack to be okay with this. And I'm sorry, there are maybe 2 days before old Nick comes back with antibiotics for Jack. And yeah, because they had rehearsed it for a couple days before old Nick even came back. So anywho, or maybe he did in the night, because I think what had happened is, I'm sorry, I'm just now remembering, the day before old Nick comes back and touches Jack on the cheek and they execute the sick plan, old Nick had come once in the night and Ma had said that she thought he was starting to come down with something, and then they did the sick plan. So then they did the sick plan, he got really sick. Gross. The next day, I don't think he comes, and if he does, it's in the night, and Ma is just telling him that he's getting worse than he actually needs and stuff, and he's not buying it until, like, the second day, because it's days 11 to 14 that they practice escaping in the rug. So, yeah, after the sick plan, it's the rug plan for a couple days, and Ma is, like, rolling him up in the rug, adjusting the rug so it's shorter so he can wiggle out, because they tried and it was too tight. And then she's like, okay, put your elbows out, then we'll roll you in. And, like, they're working out the plan and the kinks and all that stuff. And Jack's really scared because he doesn't want to be buried alive. Like, and he doesn't want to go out in the world either, especially not without his mom, because he just doesn't really believe it, honestly, because that's what he's been told his whole life. Room is room, then the outside is outer space, and TV planets. He doesn't believe that the world actually exists. So he's very hesitant on believing it anyways. But, like, dude, do it? Anyways, they keep practicing it. Jack does not want to do it, but he still does it anyways, obviously. And, yeah, he's not really happy about doing it. The day that it comes, Mom makes him some special food, whatever he wanted that they had, because she called it the last day in a room. But Jack didn't believe that, because he's like, I don't believe it's going to be our last day here. But it was. And they prepare some special food. He gets extra food because she doesn't fucking care. They're not staying anymore. And once it comes around nighttime, she has him partially rolled up. So that way, if old Nick even comes a little bit early, but she doesn't believe he will, she will wrap him up in a rug really quickly and execute her plan. Eventually, nighttime does come, and Ma puts on some socks for him, some sweats, I think, or no, just underwear, and a t-shirt, and he puts a little note that Ma wrote about their situation in his underwear. And so after that, excuse me, After the note has been placed, they roll him up in a rug, sort of. They hear the beep, 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 and she rolls him up really quickly and starts her sob story act of how Jack died. And Jack's only job right now, so there are a few steps to his plan. In his head, it is rug, truck, jump, somebody, police, save Ma, I think. That's the plan. So yeah, rug, truck, somebody, or jump out, somebody, save Ma, or police save Ma, or something like that. It's like pretty straightforward. So he's rolled up in a rug. He has to say stiff, 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 because that's how a dead body is. And old Nick is like, "Okay, fine, can I see?" And Ma like flips out. She's like, "No, you don't get to see him. He's dead. Don't you lay your filthy eyes on him." And he's like, "Okay, I won't. I promise." And he's being weirdly consoling. And he's like, "I have to take him now." And she's like, "No, no, no, don't take him." And he's like, "Well, if it's been since the night, maybe this morning or this night, I have to take him now. He's gonna start smelling up the place." And she says okay reluctantly, because she's pretending he's dead. And he picks up Jack and takes him out of room. This is the first time Jack is out of room. He just barely sees the outside, just a teeny little bit, but that's about it. And same as in the movie and in the book, as old Nick is walking to his truck from the backyard, there's a moment of hesitation from old Nick. And Jack feels it because he's no longer walking. He feels a pause. And he feels him being put down and then being picked back up after closing the door to room. Then as he keeps walking to the truck, he feels a pause because old Nick stopped walking. And in the movie, it is very much so portrayed that old Nick hesitates. He literally hesitated, actually believing that he was dead. And because he's stupid, he's like, "Yeah, I believe it," when he's actually not dead, but whatever. And I like that because that hesitation is what fucks him over and gets him caught. And yeah, I absolutely love that he hesitated and believed that he was dead. I absolutely love that he hesitated. That's a moment for me that is like my favorite moment in the book. In the truck, Jack is put in the what's it called? I should know this. My dad has a truck. Not the trunk. We're calling it the bed of the truck. Is put in the bed of the truck, and old Nick starts driving. He takes a couple turns, and like 2 turns in, Jack finally wiggles out of the rug because he's like kind of panicking. He kind of peed himself. He peed himself and then shit himself, which was actually kind of sad because that just tells you how high stress he is. And that ruins the note, by the way. So there's no note anymore. So that's important. He finally wriggles out of the rug as they plan for him to roll out of the rug. He sees a stop sign. Jack tries to jump out because the truck was stopped. But old Nick kept driving after the stop sign and turned. So Jack fell back into the truck. And that freaked old Nick out because like, "Oh, fuck off. She tricked me." And he's pissed. He stops the truck. Jack jumps out of the truck and falls onto the sidewalk, a little banged up, but he's fine, keeps running. He runs into this man with a dog. I forget their name. I don't care to know their names anymore. Dog man, dog baby. There you go. And the dog bites Jack, and so Jack runs into the dog. He wasn't looking where he's going. He ran to the man with the dog, and old Nick tries to pick up Jack, but the dog bites Jack, and then old Nick keeps trying to pick him up and takes him, sort of, and Jack lets out the teeniest little scream of "help," because he doesn't know how to freaking talk to other people, so he didn't say anything, but he finally managed out a "help," like a couple times, honestly, and old Nick just says "fuck" and drops him on the sidewalk, and then the man comes and is like, "Hey, sweetheart, are you okay?" And the man thinks that Jack is a girl because he has very long hair. It's like down to the middle of his back because he lives in a room. So Jack has long hair, mind you. And so I don't think he's old. The man is like, hey, sweetheart, are you okay? And he's confused because he is not a girl. But he doesn't say anything because he doesn't know these people. He just lies on the grass. And, the man kind of explains to him that the dog didn't mean it and he's sorry and this is his daughter. Forgot the name of the daughter. Oh, the dog's name is Raja, by the way. I don't remember the name of the man or the daughter, but whatever. The man eventually calls the police because it looked like old Nick was kidnapping Jack, which he kind of was. Then the police finally get to... Oh my god, my brain hurts. The police finally get to Jack, and the officers' name are Officer O and Brown. I do remember that because I wrote it down. And Officer O is really sweet and helpful. Actually gets Jack to talk a little bit, and she picks him up, which... mind-blowing experience, by the way, because I wouldn't assume he would have let anyone touch him, but whatever. And they get... the Officer O gets Jack into the squad car. And they're trying to figure out, like, his situation. Like, Officer O's partner, Officer Brown, is, like, convinced that Jack is in a cult or something because he has a tooth with him. Because it's a bad tooth, by the way. The Ma's rotten teeth, one of them fell out. And Jack decided he wanted it for whatever reason. He sucks on it, by the way. It's really weird, but whatever. And Officer O's like, oh, can I see that? And Jack, like, whips away, like, no, you can't have my Ma's tooth. And he's like, oh, it's her dead spit, just like me. And he finally is able to explain to them in a way that they understand that room is a garden shed with a skylight. And where he was, sort of. And Officer was like, okay, I got it. And then they go and they eventually find Ma, by the way, obviously. And they rescue Ma. They're finally reunited into the real world together after they find Ma. They find Ma finally. And Jack is tired because it's been an hour. It's 10 p.m. He's 5 years old. Excuse me. And, this night, they take Ma and Jack to the police station, where they take a few statements really quickly and explain stuff, and then the police take her to this place called the Cumberland Mental Health Clinic, where they stay for a majority of the book. Jack kind of falls asleep at the police station, and he wakes up in the hospital with Ma. This is day 16 when they wake up. This is the first day in the real world with Ma. They have breakfast, lunch, and dinner times, and Ma reunites with her mom. We get to experience Jack experiencing, like, normal food for once, and it's kind of cute, because he's like, oh, I've never had this before, am I allowed to have this? And he's, like, a really quiet kid. It's so cute. And, he had to get shots the day before, and he freaked out because he didn't want to get shots, but he had to have shots. And he had a Dora Band-Aid, which he loved because he loves Dora. And, they're experiencing breakfast, and it's pretty interesting, actually. It's honestly a cute day for them, because Jack does not like the real world. He wants to be back in the room. Ma does not, so it's really weird, because Ma's like, why don't you like the real world? And he's like, because it's not the real world, fuck off. And, it's pretty interesting to see, like, Ma goes to take a shower for the first time in 7 years, because she's only had baths, and Jack doesn't like the shower, because it's weird, it's different, it's splashier than a bath, and he doesn't really like it. He didn't like that Ma was in it, and then she's like, hey, then come in with me. And he's like, no, I don't want you to be in it, and I don't want you to be in it without me. And he does not want to compromise, but she makes him come in with him, obviously. And, it's just the little things in that first day that were kind of interesting to me, because it's like, dude, it's the real world. You should like the real world. But anyways, that was the first day. It was pretty chaotic, honestly. The days and weeks after pass by, and so a few days after Ma and Jack got rescued, we meet Ma's pretty much her whole family other than her dad. We meet eventually Nancy Newsom, Joy's mother, which we met on the first day, and Leo, Nancy's new husband. We met those two people on the first day. Then a couple days later, we meet Paul, Joy's brother, Diana, Paul's wife, Bronwyn, Paul and Diana's daughter, and much, much, much later in the book, we meet Robert Newsom, Joy, and Paul's dad. So the next couple days after the rescue, and they meet the mom. I'm sorry, this is so confusing. It's kind of confusing to me too. They meet Paul and Diana, not Bronwyn, because she's at daycare and she's 3 years old. Paul and Diana stay for a little bit, then leave. Then a couple days later, they come back and they plan on taking Jack to, I think, a museum. And Ma's like, yeah, that works. We can all go to this, like, cool museum. And it's planned. It's planned to go to the museum. And when the day comes to go to the museum, Ma has another gone day in the hospital. Excuse me. I'm gonna burp. Excuse me. Oh boy, that was extra. Sorry. So days or weeks go. This is like within days, I think. They finally find a day to go to this museum. They plan to go the day of going to the museum. Excuse me. Ma has another gone day. So, instead of going to the museum, Paul, Diana, and Jack all go to the museum, to a mall. Because Bronwyn has a birthday party, and they need to get a present, and yeah. So instead of going to the museum, they go to the mall, and decide they'll go to the museum another day. Fine, whatever. They go to the mall. It's kind of cool. Jack finds a Dora backpack. He's in love with it. He almost stole it, by the way, but then he didn't. Because they just bought it for him, which was very nice of them. And he meets Bronwyn for the first time, because this day Bronwyn came with too, because they were under the impression that they were going to the museum, but they didn't go, but whatever. They're at the mall. Jack meets Bronwyn for the first time. I don't think he likes her too much, because he's like kind of annoyed that she's 3 instead of 5, so she's not as developed as he is, obviously, like vocally. So it's kind of funny. At the end of the day, when he gets returned back to the clinic, he sees Ma still in bed, and there's a nurse. So the hospital staff, the main 2 hospital staff that we meet, is Dr. Clay, their doctor, and nurse Noreen. Noreen takes Jack back to his room after the day at the hospital, the day at the mall, and Ma is trying to wake up Joy, and she's like, Joy, come on, it's time to wake up. Jack's back from his day. You should meet him. You should, like, talk to him about his day. And Ma is unresponsive, because her back is facing them, and she's still in bed. And Jack tries to wake her up, but he's not waking up. He screams and freaks out because he sees vomit all over her and an empty pill bottle, because she overdosed and tried to kill herself. Jack gets removed from the bedroom, and they are trying to fix her and obviously keep her alive. Thank God they do. But that day, because he couldn't stay in that room with her because they were doing medical shit on her, because she almost died, I don't know. Jack has to go stay with his grandma, and so yeah, he has to go stay with his grandma while Ma is kind of like in a rehab, sort of, but not really, but I'm calling it rehab because she's already in a mental health clinic, but whatever. Well, she's at rehab for, I think, a couple weeks, honestly. Jack stays with his grandma and Leo, and I don't know when we meet the grandfather, but we do eventually, and we're gonna get to that whenever. But, yeah, while Ma is in rehab, Jack stays with his grandma, and Leo, or Stepa, as he was supposed to call him, he kind of learns how to live with other people other than his Ma, which he doesn't really like adapting to, but he does eventually. And he calls Ma every single day, and Ma tells him, Ma tells him that that she got enrolled in a program that will help her with housing and schooling for both her and Jack. And when she's finally out of rehab, she picks him up and they go straight to their own little apartment that they got through this program that they're in, that they house for her. for free, essentially. And I'm pretty sure, like, the only things that she has to do is, like, prove she's in school, actively looking for a job, and, like, you know, I'm seeing, like life progress, because she hasn't had a life since she was 19 years old, just like me. So yeah, they move into their new apartment, and Jack really wants Rug back, which is kind of weird, but whatever. So Mom's really reluctant to let him have Rug, but she caves anyways, but he has to keep it in his closet. He cannot have it with him in the room or anything like that. It has to be away. Jack doesn't like that he has his own room. He likes to share Ma's room, so they made a compromise that Ma's room is both Ma and Jack's room for sleeping only, whereas Jack's room is his room and Ma's room is her room, except for when sleeping. That's their little compromise. Days go by, and Jack is really not liking this, and Ma's like, you gotta go to school eventually, and he's like, well, I don't want to, and she's like, don't worry, only when you're ready, I promise. And he's like, okay, and he wants to visit room again, by the way, like, after weeks, or maybe even a month or so later, he wants to go back and visit room. He wants to see it just for a visit. He doesn't want to live there again. He just wants to see it. And Ma's like, no, I don't want to. And he's like, please, can we go? And she's like, no, please, no. Fighting back and forth for a couple days about it. Eventually, Ma agrees, and they go back to old Nick's house that has been repoed by, I don't even know who, but it got repoed. And, probably by the police, because they're still investigating. And they go into the backyard, and they see room. And Ma doesn't want to go inside, and Jack is kind of like, and so they're with police officers, I think, and when the police officer says, okay, this was room, to Jack's like, this is room? And he's like baffled at how small it is from the outside perspective. And Ma's like, yeah, this is it. And so Jack opens the door, the broken door to room, and he's like, this is it? And Ma's like, yeah, this was room. And he's like, where's all the stuff? Like, where's the rest of it? And she's like, this is the rest of it. They took all the stuff, though, for DNA and evidence, but yeah, this is room. And he's, like, absolutely baffled at how small it is. And he just kind of stands there, and Ma's like, can we go now? Like, I want to go. Like, she doesn't want to be there, obviously. And Jack says, okay, and he says bye to all the things that are left over in the wardrobe. And then yeah, he says bye to all the things and walks out, and he says, Ma, say bye, room. And inaudibly it says that Ma says bye, room, but doesn't actually say it. She just mouths it, and then they walk away, presumably to the rest of their life. And that's the book. It's honestly very soul-crushing and heartbreaking, but I absolutely love it because of that. I don't know why. I just love this freaking book. It is so heartbreaking and lovable all at once, and I cannot get enough of it. It is my absolute favorite book. I love seeing Jack's perspective on the world, and I love seeing Ma's perspective on the world in the movie, by the way, which, go watch. Yeah. Anyways, that was way too much information. All right, bye.